Hello and welcome to part 7 of answering every question in the book, where I am answering every single one of my functional skills maths questions in my textbook to allow myself, one second, there we go, the sound check is done. So yes, where this is the book that I've made that covers absolutely everything in functional skills level 2, and I am currently working through every single question just for one last proofread to check it out before it is available very shortly for you to be able to buy and work through, because I know that one of the main things that people like to have is just something so that they can work through, so that they feel like there's a goal, you can see how it's managed, and yeah. Anyway, so let's get started. So we got up to topic 36 last time, so let me just find that. Here we go. Oh, sorry. There we go. So here we are, topic 36. Now, I'm just going to go through these questions, but if you do want more support, you'll notice that in each corner there's these QR codes. And I've tried this out on a video that's a past video, and what I've discovered is that these QR codes actually work on the video still. So if you want to scan this to find the lesson, that is something that you can do as well. And also the other thing that you could do is, one second, I realised that I didn't quite want to go like that. The other thing that you could do, if you wanted to, you can actually also take this number 36 and you can go over to, behind the scenes, you can go over to Crack Maths and you can find that there in the tutorial section, where you've got the functional skills level 2 tutorials, and they go all the way down here. And so 36 is where we're starting today, and this is how to convert between metric and imperial lengths. Anyway, that is all of that, so let's begin. So here we go. 36, convert between metric and imperial units of length. Practice questions, round answers up to 1 decimal place. Okay, so here we go. We've got, if 1 inch is equal to 2.5 centimetres, how many inches are in 30 centimetres? Yeah, that makes sense. So 1 inch equals 2.5 cm. We want to get up to 30 cm. So we need to work out what we're timesing this by. So in order to find out that, to find out what times 2.5 gives us 30, we just do 30 divide 2.5. That gives us 12. There we go. Let's check that out. 12 times 2.5. Yeah, 30. So there we go. So we times this by 12 as well. So that'll be 12 inches. Right, and we kind of know that because the ruler, the 30 centimetre ruler, is also 12 inches. So that's useful to know. So here we go. Let's have a look at number 2. So number 2 says, given that 1 foot is equal to 0.3 meters, how many feet are in 3 meters? Okay, so let's think about this. So 1 foot equals 0.3. They put the 0 there, but it doesn't really matter. 0.3 meters. Okay, we want to get up to 3 meters. Okay, so we need to work out how many lots of this. Well, I know that 0.3 times 10 gets me to 3 meters. So here I'm going to times by 10 as well. So that'll be 10 feet. Okay, question 3. If 1 yard is equivalent to 0.9 meters, how many yards are in 5 meters? Okay, so 1 yard equals 0.9 meters. Right, we need to know what we times that by to get to 5 meters. So again, we can just do 5 divided by 0.9, which is 5.5. Well, they wanted it to 1 decimal place, so 5.6 we're going to call that. So 1 times 5.6 gets us to 5.6 yards. Okay, here we go. So that's great. Right, so next one we've got here, question 4, which is, given that 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometres, how many kilometres are in 10 miles? Okay, so this is actually a bit easier this time because we have got the unknowns on both things. So what we'll have here is we'll have 1 mile equals 1.6 km. We want 10 miles. Okay, so we just want this times 10, and then we'll want this times 10 as well. Okay, so 1.6 times 10 is 16 kilometres. Right, question 5. We've got, if 1 centimetre is equal to 0.4 inches, how many centimetres are in 12 inches? So here we go, 1 centimetre equals 0.4 inches. We want to know about 12 inches. So we've got to work out what we're timesing this by to get from 0.4 to 12. So remember, we just do that in reverse. So we do 12 divided by 0.4. And that gives us 30. Okay, so that will give us 30 cm. And that will be the answer. And actually, you might have recognised that from the first question. It was just the same kind of conversion, but in a different way. So let's get the mark scheme up. Here we go. And then let me shuffle this around. Let's see if we've got these correct. So here we go, 36. Yep, 12 inches. Perfect. 10 feet. Yep. 5.6 yards. Yep, we can see that's there. What have we got here? 16 kilometres. Great. And 30 centimetres. Perfect. Excellent. So that is all good. Right, let's move on to questions 6 to 10. Oh, I went twice. Here we go. Right, let's move this up. Let's enlarge this. So here we go. We've got convert between metric and imperial units of length. And here we've got practice questions, round answers to 1 decimal place again. Question 6. Given that 1 metre is equivalent to 40 inches, how many metres are there in 65 inches? So here we've got 1 metre equals 40 inches. We want to get up to 65 inches. So we need to work out 40 times what equals 65. And the way that we do that, again, is by doing 65 divided by 40. So that's going to be 1.625. So we'll times this by 1.625 as well, because these are directly proportional. So 1.625 metres. Now we want it to 1 decimal place. So that is going to be 1.6 metres. Okay, question 7. If 1 kilometre is equal to 0.6 miles, how many miles are there in, how many kilometres are in 8 miles? Okay, right, so 1 kilometre equals 0.6 miles. We want to get up to 8 miles. Okay, so we need to know how many lots of 0.6 miles this is. So what are we timesing this by? So in order to find out what we times 0.6 by to get to 8, we do 8 divided by 0.6. And that is 13.3. I'm just writing that because it wants 1 decimal place. So we times this by 13.3, which will be 13.3 kilometres. Okay, right, next one. Question 8. Given that 1 yard is equal to 90 centimetres, how many yards are in 120 centimetres? So again, we know that 1 yard equals 90 cm. We want to get up to 120 cm. So we need to know what we times 90 by to get to 120. So simply what we do is we do 120 divided by 90. And that gives us 1.3 recurring. So we'll just call it 1.3 because that's how it would round to 1 decimal place. And then so that's 1.3 yards. Okay. Right. Next one we've got here. If 1 inch is equal to 25 millimeters, how many inches are in 50 millimeters? So we've got 1 inch equals 25 millimeters. And then we've got how many inches are 50 millimeters. You might just notice this off the bat, but 25 is half of 50. So that's times 2. So we've got that 25 twice. So that will mean that will be 2 inches. Okay, and question 10. We've got, given that 1 meter is equivalent to 3.3 feet, how many meters are in 15 feet? So we've got here 1 meter equals 3.3 feet. We need to get to 15 feet. So we need to know what we're multiplying this by. So again, we just do the 15 divided by 3.3. And that'll give us here. So that's times 4.5. So we're going to go with 4.5 meters because we've been told to round everything to 1 decimal place. So let's mark these to see if the answer scheme agrees. Okay, so here we go. Yep, question 6 is 1.6, so we agree here. 13.3, yep. 1.33, interesting. I've said, because that's actually misleading, isn't it? Because I've said to round it to 1 decimal place, so I will quickly just alter that. Here we go. So we need to get to the mark scheme for that. Sorry about this. So here we go. 52, 47, 35. Oh, very close. 36 will be up here. So we should have just put here 1.33 because it says to round everything to 1 decimal place. Okay, that is changed. So that's good to know. There we go. So that is now altered. And then here we go. Go back to the screen share. Right, this next one. Yeah, so here we go. That's 1.3 done for 8. And then we've got here 2. Yeah, that's correct. And then we've got 4.5, which is correct as well. Okay, great. Right. Next round, the scenario questions. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully these will read nicely. So first one, it says, Amelia is going hiking and the trail is 8 kilometers long. How many miles is the length of the trail? Okay, so 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers. So we know that 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers. We want to get to 8 kilometers. So what are we timesing this by? So we need to get out the calculator and we can do 8 divided by 1.6. 5, so that tells us that 1.6 times 5 equals 8. So we times this by 5 as well. So this will be 5 miles. Right, question 2. Calvin wants to know the height of a building in feet. If the building's height is listed as 60 meters, how many feet is the height of the building? Conversion, 1 foot is 0.6 meters. So we know that 1 foot equals 0.3 meters. We know that the building is 60 meters. So what times 0.3 gets us up to 60? How many lots of 0.3 do we have? So we need to do 60 divided by 0.3 equals 200. So 0.3 times 200 gives us 60. So we'd times that by 200 as well. So this would be 200 feet. Okay, question 3. Sophie is measuring the length of a football field, which is 100 meters. How many yards is the length of the football field? Conversion, 1 yard equals 0.9 meters. Okay, so 1 yard equals 0.9 meters. We know that we need to get up to 100 meters. So we can times this by well, we have to work out that what times 0.9 gets us to 100. So we do 100 divided by 0.9, and that's 101.1 because we're sticking to one decimal place. So that's that, 101.1 times, so that'll be 101.1 yards. Okay. Right, question 4. Ben is estimating the width of a swimming pool and it is 20 metres wide. How many feet is the width of the swimming pool? So the conversion that we have here is 1 foot equals 0.3 metres. So I'll write that down here. So 1 foot equals 0.3 metres. What do we want to get to? We want to get to 20 metres. Okay, so what times 0.3 gets us to 20? So we do 20 divided by 0.3, and that will let us know. So 0.3 times 66.6 recurring, but we're one decimal placing it here, so we'll call it 66.7. So times this by 66.7 as well, because we've got 66.7 lots of 0.3. So that means 66.7 feet. Okay, question 5. Question 5 says, Mia is planning a road trip and the distance between two cities is 300 kilometres. How many miles is the distance between the two cities? Oh, that's it. How many miles is the distance between the two cities? Conversion, 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometres. Okay, so here we go. 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometres. And then we want to get to 300 kilometres. So we need to find out what we times 1.6 by to do that. So we're going to have to do 300 divided by 1.6. And that'll be 187.5. That's nice. It's already one decimal place. So we've times this by 187.5. So that is 187.5 miles. So there we go. We know that 187.5 miles is 300 kilometres. Okay, let's get these marked. Here we go. Right, so scenario questions. So this one here, 5 miles, 200 feet, yeah. 111.1 yards, yeah. 66.7 feet, 187.5 miles. Perfect. Right, let's do the 6 to 10 of the scenario questions for this topic. Remember, if you did want any extra help with these, you can always scan this QR code here, and that will take you to the actual lesson on this. If not, let's just keep going. So here we go. Emma is measuring her garden and it is 15 metres long. How many feet is the length of her garden? Okay, right. So 1 metre equals 3.3 feet. So 1 metre equals 3.3 feet, and we want 15 metres. So this is actually nice because I can see that that's just times 15. So we actually just want 15 lots of this. So I'm just going to times that by 15 as well. I'm going to get out the old calculator. 3.3 times 15. Okay, and there we go. 49.5 feet. Wonderful. Right, question 7. Liam is planning to run a 5-kilometre race. How many miles is that? Conversion, 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometres. Okay, right. I'm really sorry about this. I am actually just going to quickly nip to the nip to the PowerPoint to change it. It's page 153. I just don't like it when things like this are on different lines. Okay, that just makes it a little bit harder for you to read. So I'm just going to quickly alter that. 153. Okay, here we go. Done. Also, while we're here, there was something on this page. It wasn't a big thing, but there was a spacing issue here. Right, thank you. Thank you very much for this, by the way. I really appreciate it. Right, so let's keep going. So here we go. We've got Liam is planning to run a 5-kilometre race. How many miles is that? Conversion, 1 mile is 1.6 kilometres. So we have got 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometres. We want to know how many miles 5 kilometres is. That's a good question actually, because people often do 5k runs, don't they? So let's have a look here. So 1.6 times what equals 5? We get that by doing 5 divided by 1.6. Okay, so there we go. So 1.6 times 3.125 would give us 5. Now to 1 decimal place, well, we know that this is going to be 3.125 miles. But they want it to 1 decimal place, so we'll call that 3.1 miles as the answer. Okay, question 8. Right, what we have here is we've got Olivia wants to measure the width of a bookshelf which is listed as 1.5 meters. How many feet is the width of the bookshelf? Okay, so we know that 1 foot equals 0.3 meters. Okay, and we've been told it's 1.5 meters. So we need to know how many lots of 0.3 that is. So what 0.3 times what equals 1.5? So to find that out, we just do 1.5 divided by 0.3. And that equals times 5. So there we go, times 5. So that is 5 feet. There we go. If someone is 1.5 meters, they're 5 feet tall. Right. Noah is measuring the length of a field and it is 120 meters long. How many yards is the length of the field? Okay, so 1 yard equals 0.9 meters. So we can then work from this. So we need to get to 120 meters. So 0.9 times something gets us to 120. So remember, we just do, okay, here we go. 0.9 times something gets us to 120, so we do 120 divided by 0.9. And here we go, that's 133.3. I'll leave it at that because it's to 1 decimal place, that's what we've said in the questions. So here we go, 133.3 yards. That's how many yards the field is. Right, question 10. Isabella is travelling to France and the speed limit is 90 kilometers per hour. How many miles per hour is this? Conversion, 1 mile per hour equals 1.6 kilometers per hour. Okay, well that's the same as 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers. Okay, so let's just write it like that. So 1 mile equals 1.6 km. Okay, the speed limit is 90 km. So we need to know how many lots of 1.6 km go into 90. So what are we multiplying this by? We will do 90 divided by 1.6. And that will be 56.25. So we'll have to times this by that, because that means it's 56.25 miles. And then they want it to 1 decimal place, so we'll call it 56.3 miles. Oh, we should, maybe I'll just write it like this. MPH is the thing that we often use. MPH. There we go. Right, okay, that's that round done. Let's get this marked to see if it matches with the answer scheme. Please do. Right, here we go. Right, so question 6. Yep, 49.5 feet. I can see that's right. 3.1 miles. Perfect. 5 feet. Excellent. 133.3 yards. Yeah, that's very good. And 56.3 miles per hour. Okay, great. Topic 36 complete. We're well over halfway now. Right. Okay. Let's now have a look at these. These questions are all the same principle actually. it's converting between metric and imperial units of volume. Okay, the main thing that makes this useful is just kind of knowing about the different units of volume. So here we go. Question, oh, and here we've gone up to 2 decimal places, which is interesting because the last one was 1. Okay, but it's a good skill to practice doing 2 and sometimes doing 1. Okay, so let's get started. So convert 280 millilitres to fluid ounces. So 1 fluid ounce is 28 millilitres. Okay, so FLOZ, that's what they look like here, is 28 ml, and we've got 280. Okay, that's nice. We can see that that is times 10, because 28 times 10 makes 280. So that will be 10 fluid ounces. Fluid ounces. Okay, FLOZ. Right. Convert 4 litres to gallons. So 1 gallon equals 4.5 litres. Okay, so this is going to be just less than 1 gallon then. So 1 gallon equals 4.5 litres. We want to get to 4 litres. 4 litres. So we need to work out what we times 4.5 by to get to 4. It's a bit of a weird one here because obviously 4 is smaller than 4.5. So what we're going to have a look at is, let's do this here. So we are going to do 4 divided by 4.5. And that equals this, which is going to be 0.89, we'll call that. So that makes sense as well though, because we're going to times that by 0.89. So 0.89 gallons. Okay, here we go. And that makes sense because we could see it had to be just a little bit less. Okay, so here we go. Right, let's have a look at question 3. Question 3 says, convert 500 cubic centimetres to litres. So we've got 1,000 cubic centimetres equals 1 litre. Let's write that down. 1,000 cm cubed equals 1 litre. Okay, and then we get we want 500. Okay, well, I can actually see we've divided this by 2 because I know that 500 is half of 1,000. So if we divide 1 by 2, we get 0.5. Oh, that's a 2 though. 0.5 litres. Okay. Right, question 4. We have got convert 3 litres to millilitres. Okay, this one's nice and easy because we've got it. We've been given the 1 litre. Oh, 1 litres. 1 litre equals 1,000 millilitres. So we want 3 litres. So that's obviously 3 lots of that. So we times this by 3 as well. So that'll be 3,000 ml. Right. Question 5. Convert 750 millilitres to pints. So what we have here is we've got 1 pint equals 568 millilitres. So I'll write that down here. 1 pint equals 568 ml. And we want to get to 750 ml. So we need to know what are we multiplying this by to get to that. So again, we do the same old trick. If we do 750 divided by 568, that tells us what we times 568 by to get to 750. Okay, and I've rounded that there to 2 decimal places because that's what it's asked. So times 1.32, and this will be 1.32 pints. Okay, right. Let's, oh, no, I don't want to go there. I want to mark it. We've got to mark it. That's what we're doing. We're checking the book. Right. So, let's go here. And then go here and get this here. Right, so I'm in my red pen. 37. Excellent. 10 fluid ounces for the first one. This second one here, we have got 0.8. Here we are. 0.89 gallons. Yeah, we agree. 0.5 litres. We agree. Okay. 3,000 millilitres. We agree. And 1.32 pints. We agree with that as well. Okay, wonderful. Right. Okay. Right, so let's have a look at this next one. We've got question 37. Oh no, we've got topic 37, that's what we're on. We've got the second half of the questions here. Okay, so we have got convert 2.5 gallons to litres. So 1 gallon is 4, oh, this is a nice one. So 1 gallon is 4.5 litres, we want 2.5 gallons. So we just want 2.5 lots of this. So we're just going to want to do 4.5 times 2.5. And that'll be 11.25 litres. Okay, let me write that nice and big here. Right, question 7. Here we have convert 2 gallons to litres. Okay, so again, we've got this. So 1 gallon equals 4.5 litres. 2 gallons, well, this is very nice. This is just twice that, so we times that by 2. So that would be 9 litres. Okay, I didn't even need my calculator. Right, here we go. Convert 5 litres to gallons. Okay, this one's a bit tricky. So 1 gallon equals 4.5 litres. What we want is we want 5 litres. Okay, so what 4.5 times what gets us to 5? Now remember, we can just do the reverse calculation on the calculator. So we get 5 divided by 4.5 equals 1.111. 1.11. And it's 2 decimal places thereafter, so we'll leave it at that. So that means that'll be 1.11 gallons. Okay, question 9. We have convert 1.8 litres to millilitres. Okay, so here that's going to say that 1 litre equals 1,000 millilitres. Right, so we want 1.8 litres. Okay, that's nice enough. So if 1 litre equals 1,000 ml, we're going to times this by 1.8. Okay, so that'll give us 1.8 litres. And then we've got to also times this by 1.8. Okay, so let's have a look at that. That's going to be 1,000 times 1.8. Okay, and that will be 1,800 ml. Here we go. Right, so next we've got question 10. And this says convert 300 millilitres into cubic centimetres. So we know that 1 milliliter, we'll call it ml, is equal to 1 cm cubed. Right, okay, well this is going to be nice and easy. So 300 ml will equal 300 cm cubed. Okay, right, let's get this marked. So this is going to be here. And then I can just move this over here. Go to the top. And let's start marking. Okay, so we have got, where are we? Here we go, this one here, let's move those up to the top. 11.25 litres, yeah, that's correct. 9 litres, yeah. 1.11 gallons, yeah, that's right. And then 1,800 millilitres, that's right as well. And 300 millilitres, that's right as well. I just forgot to it's 300 cubic centimetres. Yeah, there we go. Right, sorry about this. I will be back in 1 second. In fact, before I leave, let me just set you off on the next one so you can have a read whilst I'm gone and see what you think. I'll be back very quickly. Okay, right. Let's get started. Right, so here we go. Question 1 says, in a recipe, it calls for 500 millilitres of water. How many fluid ounces is that? So 1 fluid ounce equals 28 millilitres. Okay, so let's work this one out. So 500 millilitres we want. So I'm going to utilise what they've done there already. So we need to get from 28 to 500. So what do we times 28 by to get to 500? So remember, we just do 500 divided by 28. And that equals this. 2 decimal places for this one. So we will be timesing this by 17 point, that rounds to 86. Okay, so remember, we've times that by the 17.86. So it's 17.86 fluid ounces. Okay. Right, question 2. Samin wants to know how many cups are in a litre of water. How many cups is that? Fair enough, that makes sense. Okay, so 1 cup is 200. Oh, this one's tricky, okay, because this one relies on us knowing that a litre of water is 1,000 millilitres. So we know that 1 cup equals 284 millilitres. So we want to know how many cups in 1,000 millilitres. So what have we times 284 by to get to 1,000? Okay, so let me just, 1 second, that's ml. What have we times 284 by to get to 1,000? That's the big question. So 284, 1,000 divided by 284 equals 3.52. Okay, so there will be 3.52 cups. Okay, right. Let's have a look at question 3. So question 3 tells us that Wataru needs to drink 2.5 litres of water each day. How many pints of water is that? Okay, so conversion, 1 pint equals 0.568 litres. So here we go. We'll say that we need to get to 2.5 litres. So what are we timesing 0.568 by to get to 2.5? So what we'll need to do with that is we'll need to do 2.5 divided by 0.568. Okay, and there we go. That's going to be times 4.4. I'll call it 4.40. That doesn't really change much, but we're rounding to 2 decimal places, so I want to just include the 0 so that we know that that's gone on. So it will be 4.40 pints. Okay, right. We've got here that Zadie has a water bottle that can hold 750 millilitres of water. How many fluid ounces does her water bottle hold? So 1 fluid ounce equals 28 millilitres. So we need to get up to 750 millilitres. So how many lots of 28 is that? So the way we're going to find that out is by doing 750 divided by 28. And that's going to be times 26.79. That will be to 2 decimal places. So the answer for this, so that means we've got the amount of millilitres 26.79 times. So therefore we're going to have here, we'll have 26.79 fluid ounces. Okay, right. Question 5. We've got Jack wants to measure 3 litres of water. How many pints is that? Right, I'm going to have to change this as well because I don't like it when the conversions are split like this. So remember, what page was this number again? (156). There we go. Right, so let's go here. 156. Here we go, and then we'll just enter that there. So that's on that line. Okie dokie, right. So that is all well and good. Let's get back to the remarkable and let's answer this question. So, 1 pint equals 0.568 litres. So we want to get up to 3 litres. So how many lots of 0.568 is that? So remember, we get the calculator and we do 3 divided by 0.568. Okay, and that tells us that 0.568 times 5.28 will give us 3 litres. So that is going to be 5.28 pints. Okay, let's get this marked. Okay, so here we go. We want this, we want these, and then we want this again. And keep this up here. Okay, let's find out moment of truth. Okay, so 17.86. Yep, that's correct. 3.52. Yep, that's correct. 4.40. Yep, that's correct. 26.79. That's correct. And 5.28. That's correct. So those are all right. That's good. Let's have a look at the second part of these scenario questions. 1 second. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. Right. So here we go. We've got Lisa wants to fill a 5-gallon tank. She has a jug that holds 1.5 litres of water. How many jugs will the tank take to fill? Oh, right. Okay, so this is a little bit harder this time. We've got multiple things going on. So, I'm going to convert the tank into litres just because it's easier. If we've got 1 gallon here, it's nice and easy to go to 5 gallons. Okay, we can do that by timesing by 5. So let's get the calculator out. 4.5 times 5. 4.5 times 5. Here we go. So that's 22.5 litres. Okay. Now we know that 1 jug equals 1.5 litres. We want 22.5 litres. So we need to work out how many lots of the jug makes that. So we just need to do 22.5 divided by 1.5. And that's 15 jugs, so times 15. So the answer will be 15 jugs to fill up this pool. Okay, right. Mike wants to know how many millilitres are in a gallon of water. He knows that 1 gallon is 4.5 litres. Okay, I'm going to just change that. That's mixed numbering. So I just want to change that. He knows that 1 gallon is... let's see. 1 gallon is... There we go. 4.5 litres. And 1 litre is 1,000 millilitres. Okay. Right, let's go back to here. So Mike knows that 1 gallon is 4.5 litres. Oh no, I've got to be consistent. We should actually, if numbers are and 1 litre. There we go. Right, so Mike wants to know how many millilitres are in a gallon of water. He knows that 1 gallon is 4.5 litres and 1 litre is 100 millilitres, 1,000 millilitres. Okay, so 1 gallon is... So he just wants to know how many are in a gallon of water. So if we know that 1 gallon is 4.5 litres, so we want to find out 4.5 litres in millilitres. So we know that 1 litre equals 1,000 ml. So we need 4.5 litres, and that will be this times 4.5. So that will be 4,500 ml. And as 1 gallon equals 4.5 litres, and that equals 4,500 millilitres, that'll be that there. Okay, right, question 8. Emma needs to drink 8 pints of water each day. How many litres is that? Okay, so 1 pint is this, so we want 8 pints. So this is a nice and straightforward question. We're just going to times this by 8. Let's get the calculator out. So 0.568 times 8 4.544, and they've said to 2 decimal places, so we'll call it 4.54 litres. Here we go. Question 9, we've got Jin wants to know how many pints of water are in half a gallon. How many pints is that? So 1 gallon equals 8 pints. Half a gallon, well, that has been divided by 2. That's how we half something. Divide this by 2 as well. So that will be 4 pints. There we go. Question 10. Mia wants to measure 50 gallons of water. How many litres is that? Conversion. Okay, we need to sort that out. Here we go. Conversion, 1 gallon equals 4.5 litres. Right. So there we go. So 1 gallon, oh, this is a nice easy one actually, equals 4.5 litres. So therefore we want 50 here, 50 gallons below. So we're timesing this by 50. So we times this by 50 as well. Let's get the calculator out for that kind of sum. You might get asked this in the non-calculator, but then it's just using the long multiplication methods that we've looked at before. Okay. So that'll be 225 litres. Okay, right. Let's have a look at marking this. Okay, up to the top. So first one. I've written 6 should say 15 jugs, not 15 gallons. So let's change that. This is slide 360. Sorry about this. Slide 360. Um, 15 jugs. Right. There we go. That's right now. Then we've got 4,500. We've gone wrong again here. This should be millilitres, isn't it? Wants to know how many millilitres. Yeah. So that needs to be corrected. Is that how we spell millilitres? 1 second. That's the American spelling. It's the English spelling. Okay, right. So that's now corrected. I might as well stick with this here. Oh, no, let's go back here. So here we go. So 4.54 litres. Yep, that's correct. And 4 pints is right. And then we've got 225 litres. Okay, that is all very well and good. Right, let's just compare that again, check that that was the things that were going on here as well. Yep, this is what we've got. Okay, next topic, 38. We're whizzing through these this evening, so this is brilliant. Okay, so 38, converting between metric and imperial units of weight. So it's the same topic again, really, just with weights. Okay, but it's a big thing converting between units of measure. It's a skill that we actually, you know, when people question what is a functional skill and what's not, this actually is quite useful as a topic. So remember, if you do want any more work on this, you can scan this QR code. If not, let's keep going. So first one here, convert 500 grams into ounces. So here we go, we want this, 500 grams. So what are we timesing this by? Need to get out the calculator. 2 decimal places this time. 500 divided by 28.35. Okay, that's 17.64. 17.64 ounces. Convert 2 pounds, 2 kilograms to pounds. Okay, so we need to go here. What are we timesing that by? Okay, that's 4.44. 1.5 kilograms to pounds. Again, what are we timesing that by? We've got question 4. Right, so we want this to be 750. Oh, this is nice. Okay. Yeah, we've got that. 17.64, 4.44, 3.33. Yeah, 1.65 and 1.58. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Second round. We have got, so we're just going to times this by 200. Oh, sorry, let me get that full screen. So, excellent. Question 2, we've got convert 1.2 kilograms to pounds. So, what are we timesing that by? That's the big question. What is it? Okay, question 9, convert 4 kilograms to pounds. So we want this to be 4. So that we need to work out. So 4 divided by 0.45. So that'd be 8.89 pounds. Oh my gosh, I've been forgetting my underlines as well. I'm getting really lazy with this one. Okay, that's all right. Right. Last one here, question 10. Convert 350 ounces to grams. So we are going to times this by 350. Get 350 OZ. Times that by 350. Okay, let's clear this up. So 28.35 times 350. Okay, there we go. 9922.5 grams. Okay, let's get this marked. Okay. Here we go. At the top here, we've got that first one's right. This one's right as well. 1.76. Yeah, that's correct as well. Oh, well, they haven't rounded that right. If we were going to round that, that should be 8.89. So let's just quickly change that. I say they, me. Right. Okay, so and that's now correct. We fix that, and then 9,922.5 grams here. Right, on to the scenario questions. Okay, so full screen. Right, I've got to read these carefully. Jamie wants to bake, 2 decimal places here again for this one. Jamie wants to bake a cake and the recipe calls for 250 grams of sugar. How many ounces of sugar does Jamie need? Okay, so we've got here, we want this to be 250. So remember, we just do 250 divided by okay, that'll be 8.82. OZ means ounces, but actually I'm going to write ounces because I've been writing ounces all the time. Okay. Emma is going on a trip and her luggage cannot exceed 20 kilograms. How many pounds can Emma bring with her? So here we go. We need this to be 20 kg. So what are we timesing that by? So we do 20 divided by 0.45. 44.44. There we go. So that'd be 44.44. Pounds is LB. But I'll write that here as well. Okay, question 3. We've got Lisa wants to weigh herself using a scale that shows pounds. She weighs 75 kilograms. How much does she weigh in pounds? Okay, right, so we want to get to 75 kg. Okay, what are we timesing that by? We have to do 75 divided by 0.45 is 166.67. So that'd be 166.67 pounds. Okay, question 4. We have Ben wants to buy apples at a grocery store where the weight is given in pounds. If Ben wants to buy 1.5 kilograms of apples, how many pounds of apples should he buy? 1 pound equals 453.6 grams. Okay, so a kilogram, 1 second, so 1 kg equals 1,000 grams. So 1.5 kg will equal 1,500 grams. So we need to get to 1,500 grams. So what are we timesing that by? So we do 1,500 divided by 453.6. And here we go. So that's going to be 3.31. Okay, so that will be 3.31 pounds. Okie dokie, right. Question 5 we've got here. Petra is training for a weightlifting event and she wants to track her progress. If Petra can lift 187 pounds, approximately how many kilograms is she lifting? If 2.2 pounds is 1 kilogram, so we want to get up to 187 pounds. Okay, so 2.2 times what equals 187. So we're going to do 187 divide 2.2, and that's 85. So she's lifting 85 kg. Go Petra. Right. Okay, next one. Oh, no, not next one. We've got to mark it. Right, so here we go. Right, so here we go. We've got here question 1. Oh, we're up to this bit now, aren't we? Scenario. Ah, 8. Did I round that incorrectly? Or have I just been getting my rounding wrong? Right, 1 second. Let's just double check that. So, 28 point. Oh, no. We want 250 divided by 28.35. Nope, that will definitely round to 8.82. Let me just fix that in the mark scheme. Okay. But that is correct. Otherwise, okie dokie. Right, next one, 4.44. Yeah, that's correct. 166.67. Yeah, that's correct. 3.31. Yeah, that's correct. And 85, that is correct as well. Okay, right. Round 2. We've got here. So, Patrick is on a diet and wants to track his food intake. If Patrick ate a snack that weighed 100 grams, how many ounces did he eat? Okay, so we need to get to here, 100 grams. What are we multiplying this by to get here? So let's have a look. Where's that calculator? So 100 divided by 28.35 will give us the answer to this. So that's 3.53 to 2 decimal places. So 3.53 grams, ounces. Let's do that properly. Ounces. Okay, right. Brian is trying to gain weight and wants to monitor his progress in pounds. If Brian currently weighs 65 kilograms, how much does he weigh in pounds? Okay, so, this is nice. We've got the 1 kilogram thing here. So 65 kg is what he currently weighs. So we're timesing this by 65. So we've got to do 2.2 times 65. And that will give us the weight in pounds. Times 65. Here we go. So that's 143 pounds. Right, question 8. Mike is a weightlifter and wants to track his gains. There's a lot of weightlifters in this. If Mike just lifted 50 kilograms, approximately how many ounces did he lift? Ooh, right. Okay, so 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. So 50 kilograms equals 50,000 grams. So we need this to get to 50,000 grams. So 28.35 times what gets us to 50,000? Well, let's do 50,000 divided by 28.35. Here we go. I mean, it does sound impressive, so that, if you tell people how much you lift in ounces. Here we go. So it's 17,000. No, it's 1,763.67 ounces. I don't know if anyone does that, but maybe it's useful. Right, question 9. Marie is a nutritionist and is helping her client calculate their food intake. If her client ate 25 kilograms of food, approximately how many pounds did they consume? So, let's work this out. If her client ate 2.5 kilograms of food, approximately how many pounds did they consume? So this is a nice one, 2.5. We are actually just doing 2.2 times 2.5. Okay, here we go, 2.2 times 2.5. And let's see where this gets us. So this gets us to 5.5 pounds. Okay, right, question 10. David is, let me move it up just to make it obvious. David is on a diet and wants to track his sugar intake. If he consumed a snack that had 150 grams of sugar, approximately how many ounces did he eat? 1 ounce equals that. Okay, so we've got to get to 150. Okay, so 28.35 times what gets us to 150? So we have to do 150 divided by 28.35. Okay, so it's going to be 150 divided by 28.35 equals 5.29. And yeah, that would be that to 2 decimal places. And that is the number of ounces. So let's put in the units. Here we go. So let's sort that out. Let's get this marked even. Okay, so let's scroll up to the top here and then get the mark scheme up. Okay, so here we go. Right, 3.53 ounces, perfect. 143 pounds, great. 1,763.67 ounces. Yeah, that's right. And then 5.5 pounds. Yeah, perfect. And then 5.29 ounces. Wonderful. So that's correct as well. Right, there we go. Oh, I feel like we'll make real progress when we get up to 40. Okay, these are nice ones. There's less questions as well in this section. Right, so let's get this out and have a look. So question 1, find the x value when the y value is 10. Okay, so y value is 10, that's here, so that x value will be 1. Question 2, find the y value when the x value is 3. So the x value is 3 here, so that will mean the y value is 30. Okay. Question 3, we've got a different graph here. Find the x value when the y value is 10. So here's where the y value is 10. Ooh, it's a bit tricky. We're going to have to make a guess. It's between 15 and 20. I think it's probably 16. Okay. Question 4, find the y value when the x value is 32. Okay, so that's just, again, it's like almost halfway, but just less than. So it's probably there. And then, ooh, what are these going up in? So 5 for 2. So this one would be 17.5. Is it closer to, is it going to be closer to the 18 or 19? I'm going to say that y equals 19. Okay. I'm thinking there'll probably be a range of answers maybe in the thing. So I'm going to write here just temporarily 18 or 19. And then for this one here, x is 16. I'm going to say 16 or 17 would be acceptable for that. Okay, because we don't have the accurate grid. Okay. Here, find the x value when the y value is 0. So it goes through the origin here, so the x value would equal 0. And find the y value when the x value is 40. So x is 40 here. Okay, so again, yeah, that's going, each one of these is halfway, so that'd be 17.5. So this looks to me to be closer to the 17.5 than the 16. So I reckon this would be 17. But I think we'd also have to accept 16 as well. So let's put 16, y equals 16 or 17. Okay, and if somebody puts something between that, that would probably be acceptable as well. So let's have a look at the answer scheme for this. Oh, it was such a long time ago when I did these. So let's hopefully, I can't remember. 1 sec. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so first one, x is 1. Next one we've got y is 30. Here we go. 16 or 17. Perfect. Okay. This one we've got 18 or 19. Or here we've got 0. Yep. And here we've got 16 or 17. Okay, great. So there we go. Maybe I should put a note to say or between. Right. I think that's fine. Okay. Right, let's have a look at these ones. Here we go, scenario questions here. So the conversion graph shows the relationship between miles and kilometres. How many kilometres would be equivalent to 6 miles? Okay, so 6 miles is here. Oh. Okay, so here's 6 miles. So if I go up to here, okay, so it's going to be, it looks to me halfway, each of these ones that isn't labelled, it looks like they're just going up in ones. That's 7, that's 6, that'd be 5, that'd be 3, that'd be 1. Now this hits halfway between 9 and 10, so I'm going to say that this is going to be 9.5 km. Okay. Question 2, the conversion graph, how many miles would be equivalent to 4 kilometres? So 4 kilometres is here, read along, and again we're at the halfway mark, so I'm going to say that's 2.5 miles. Okay, right. Question 3, we've got here that the conversion graph shows the relationship between gallons and litres. How many litres are equal to 7.5 gallons? Okay, so 7.5 gallons is halfway between 7 and 8. Okay, here we go. I see why they've done this. So this is be 33 litres. This next one, we've got the conversion graph shows the relationship between gallons and litres. How many gallons is equal to 27 litres? So here we go. Oh, yes, nice on a cross point. So here we go. So that would be 6 gallons. Question 5. The conversion graph shows the relationship between hectares and acres. How many acres is equivalent to 5 hectares? So here we go. Hectares are on the bottom. So there we go. Here. So that looks like 12.5 to me. So 12.5 acres. Okay. And then the conversion graph shows the relationship between hectares and acres. How many hectares are equivalent to 20 acres? So here we go, 20. Oh, it's nice on the point. So that's 8 hectares. 8 hectares. Okay, great. Right, so let's get these marked. Okay, and we can move on. So, right, we did the practice ones already. So here's a scenario. Ah, this is nice. I've given a little window here. So approximately 9.5, yeah. And then there's that window there. Approximately 2.5, yeah, we've got the window. We don't have a window there. 33, yeah. 6, yeah. 12.5, yeah. And 8. Excellent. Okay, so I think that's all good. Okay. Topic 40, last one for today. That's very nice. Well, practice and then we'll do the scenario and then that'll be that. Okay, so 1 second. I just need to review it. Okay, right. Sorry, 1 second. I just had to check something. Sorry about that. So here we've got speed, distance, time. What is the speed in meters per second if the distance is 200 meters and the time is 20 seconds? So if we've got 20 seconds equals 200 meters. Meters per second means how many meters you're traveling when you go 1 second. So we've got to divide both by 20. So that would be 10 meters. Okay, so in every second you're doing 10 meters, so that the speed is 10 meters per second. Okay, right. Next one, we've got what is the distance travelled in kilometers if the speed is 50 kilometers per hour and the time is 2 hours. So 50 kilometers means that 15 kilometers per hour means that in 1 hour you equal 50 kilometers. Okay, so if 1 hour equals 50 kilometers, that means that 2 hours equals 100 kilometers. So the distance you've travelled would be 100 kilometers per hour. What is the time taken in seconds if the speed is 30 meters per second and the distance is 150 meters? So this means that in 1 second you travel 30 meters. We want to know how long it takes us to get to 150 meters. So we need to do 30 times something to get to 150. Well, I know that that's 30 times 5. So this will be 5 seconds. So that will be the time taken. Okay, question 4. What is the speed in miles per hour if the distance is 100 miles and the time is 2 hours? So we're saying that 2 hours gives us 100 miles. So we want 1 hour to get miles per hour. So we've divided that by 2. So divide that by 2 there will give us 50 miles. So the speed will be 50 miles per hour because that means that for every 1 hour you're going 50 miles. Okay, question 5. What is the distance travelled in meters if the speed, let me just roll that up, if the speed is 60 meters per second and the time is 10 seconds. So 60 meters per second means that in 1 second you travel 60 meters. That's so fast. If there's 10 seconds, what that means is 10 seconds is going to be 10 lots of this. So we'll times this by 10. So that would be 600 meters. Okay. So what is the distance travelled in meters? If the speed is 60 meters, well, it'll be 600 meters. Okay. Right, let's mark this. Okay, and we're going to do this over here. Right, so Here we go. Speed, distance, time, practice questions. Let's roll up to the top. So we've got 10 meters per second. Yeah. We've got 100 kilometers. Yeah. 5 seconds. Yeah. This is good. 50 miles per hour. MPH does the same job. And 600 meters. Wonderful. Right, let's keep going. Okay, here we go. We've got the second round of the practice ones, and then we'll move on to the scenario, and then we'll be done for the day. Yay. Right, so here we go. We've got, what is the time taken in hours if the speed is 25 kilometers per hour? So that means 1 hour equals 25 km. And the distance is 100 kilometers. So how many hours traveling 25 kilometers an hour would it take to travel 100? So I know that 25 times 4 equals 100. So that means that that's going to have taken 4 hours. Okay, and I'll write that over there as well. 4 hours. Okay. Question 7. What is the speed in kilometers per hour if the distance is... sneaky. We've got different units here. So what is the distance in kilometers per hour if the distance is 500 meters, okay, and the time is 2 minutes, okay? So what this means is 2 minutes, okay, 2 mins equals 500 meters, okay? So let's go to let's convert this into kilometers first, and then we'll worry about this. So this equals, so we know that 2 mins equals 0.5 kilometers, okay, because a kilometer is 1,000 meters. Then we know that there's 60 minutes in an hour, so we want to get up to 60 mins, okay. So we're going to times that by 30, because 2 times 30 gives us 60. So we need to times this by 30 as well. 0.5 times 30, well, times something by 0.5 gives you half of it. So this is going to be 15 kilometers. So this speed would be 15 kilometers per hour. There we go. Right, question 8. What is the distance travelled in miles if the speed is 40 miles per hour and the time is 1.5 hours? Okay, so 1.5 hours. Oh, no, 1 second. So we know that we've got 1 hour will give us 40 miles, but we want 1.5 hours. Okay, so we just actually want 1.5 lots of this. 1.5 times 40 is 60 miles. Okay, because it's like 1.5 means like 1.5, so it's the 40 plus half of 40. Right, question 9. We've got, what is the time taken in seconds if the speed is 12 meters per second and the distance is 36 meters? So that means 12 meters per second means that 1 second will give us 12 meters. Right, we know that we've travelled 36 meters. Okay, I can see that that is 3 lots of 12. So that's going to be 3 seconds. Okay. Right, next one we've got question 10. And this one says, what is the speed in kilometers per hour if the distance is 80 kilometers and the time is 4 hours? Okay, let me just lift that up here. So, the distance, so we know that in 4 hours we did 80 kilometers. Okay, so we need to find out how far we did in 1 hour. So we could actually just divide both of these by 4 to get 1 hour, and then divide that by 4 as well. 80 divided by 4 is 20. So in 1 hour we're travelling 20 kilometers. So that means the speed is 20 kilometers per hour. Right, next one. Question 40. This said, oh no, we've got to mark them. We've got to mark them. That's the point of what we're doing. Right, let me minimise this. Okay, here we go. Question 6. We've got 4 hours. Question 7, 15 kilometers per hour. Great. Question 8 is 60 miles. Question 9 is 3 seconds. And 10 is 20 kilometers per hour. Wonderful. Okay, that's great news. Okay, so last round, well, 40 scenario part 1, and then we'll have 40 scenario part 2, and then we'll be done. Right, so here we go. Right, we have got Khadija runs a 5-kilometer race in 30 minutes. What is her average speed in miles per hour? Okay, so 30 minutes is half an hour, so I'm going to call 30 minutes. Well, actually, no, let's just write it down as 30 minutes first. I think we'll do 30 min equals 5 km. Well, twice that gives us 60 min, which is an hour, which should be 10 km. So 1 hour equals 10 km. That means in 1 hour she does 10 km, so her speed is 10 kilometers per hour. Okay, here we go. Question 2. A car travels 400 kilometers in 4 hours. What is the average speed in kilometers per hour? So 4 hours equals 400 kilometers. If we divide this by 4, we get 1 hour. If we divide this by 4, we get 100 km. So this means it's going 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, right, question 3. It says it takes a plane 2 hours to fly a distance of 1,200 kilometers. What is its average speed in kilometers per hour? Right, so 2 hours equals 1,200 km. Half this gives us 1 hour. Half this gives us 600 km. So it's going to be 600 kilometers per hour. Okay. Question 4, we've got Pedro rides his bike at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. How long will it take him to travel a distance of 45 kilometers? So 1 hour equals 15 km. Okay. We need to get up to 45 km. I can see that 15 times 3 is 45. I know that because of the clock. Quarter of an hour, half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. I times this by 3 as well. We get 3 hours. So in 3 hours, he travels 45 kilometers. So how long will it take him to travel a distance of 45 kilometers? Well, that will be 3 hours. Right, question 5. What we have here is the sound of thunder is heard 5 seconds after seeing the lightning. If the sound travels at a speed of 343 meters per second, how far away was the lightning? Okay, so 1 second. So we know in 1 second it's travelled 343 meters. So we want 5 seconds. So that will be this times 5. So let's get out the calculator for that one. So here we go. We've got 343 times 5. And there we go, that's 1,715 meters. Okay. We could also call that 1.715 km. But I think it will give you the answer in meters as well. But you could do both. Right. Let's get these ones marked. And then it'll be the final round. Yeah. Right. So. Here we go. 1. Speed, distance, time scenario. Perfect. 10 kilometers per hour. 100 kilometers per hour. 600 kilometers per hour. 3 hours. 1,715 meters. Let me get rid of this. We don't need it. Okay. Right. Last round of 5. Okay, so here we go. Let's open this up here and do that. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got a train travels at a speed of 150 kilometers per hour. If the train takes 3 hours to reach its destination, what is the total distance travelled? Okay, so in 1 hour, they go 120 km. So that means in 3 hours, they'll do that 3 times. Okay, 3 times 120 is 360 km. Okay, so the total distance travelled is 360 kilometres. Right, question 7. A swimmer covers a distance of 500 metres in 10 minutes. What is the swimmer's average speed in kilometres per hour? Okay, so 10 minutes equals 500 metres. Okay, so we need 60 minutes. That's what an hour is. So that's this times 6. So we times this by 6 as well. 500 times 6 gives us 3,000 metres. Oh, I keep spelling metres wrong. Okay, 3,000 metres. Then we know that 3,000 metres is 3 kilometres. And we know that 60 minutes is 1 hour. So in 1 hour we're travelling 3 kilometres. So the speed is 3 km per hour. Okay, right. Question 8. We have got here, a bus is travelling at a speed of 60 miles per hour. How long will it take for the bus to travel a distance of 180 miles? So 60 miles per hour means that in 1 hour you go 60 miles. Okay, we want to get up to 180 miles. Okay, so I know that 60 times 3 gets me to 180 because 6 times 3 is 18. And so that means this is 3 hours. So how long will it take for the bus to travel a distance of 180 miles? That will be 3 hours. Right, question 9. What we have here is a bicycle travels at a speed of 8 meters per second. How far will it travel in 10 seconds? So 8 meters per second means that in 1 second we travel 8 meters. So we want to know how far we travel in 10 seconds. Well, we travel this 8 meters 10 times, which should be 80 meters. Okay. Right, finally, question 10. And then that will mark these, and then that's us for the day. Okay, so question 10 says, a runner completes a marathon of 42.195 kilometers in 4 hours and 30 minutes. What is the runner's average speed in kilometers per hour? Round your answer to 3 significant figures. Okay, right, so I'm going to rewrite 4 hours 30 as 4.5 hours, okay? Because that is another way of writing 4.5 hours, okay? Here, I'm going to, this is 42.195 km. I want to get to 1 hour, so I've got to divide by 4.5. So I've got to divide this by 4.5 as well. So 1 hour equals this divided by 4.5. So let's just do that. So 42.195 divided by 4.5 equals 9.376. Okay, they want our answer to 3 significant figures, so that just means these, that's kilometers by the way, that just means that these 3 figures here, but we've got to round it appropriately. But so this 6 will actually make this round to an 8, so I need to stop that from being underlined. I'm going to get rid of that to make some space, and I'm going to say it's 9.38 kilometers per hour, because in 1 hour they went 9.38 kilometers. Right, so let's get this marked and then we'll go from there. Right, so here we go. Right, 360 kilometers, excellent. 3 kilometers per hour, yes, we agree. 3 hours, perfect. 80 meters, yeah, wonderful. And 9.38 kilometers. Oh, that should be a speed, shouldn't it? So I just need to update that to say kilometers per hour. But other than that, that is all very well and good. Here we go. 9.38 kilometers per hour. It's actually quite nice to get these small things to change, because that means this task is all worthwhile. And I hope it's useful for you guys as well. yeah, so remember, this is all about, I'm just checking these all for this final stage because I'm sorting it all out for this book that I've made. Well, I say the made, this is the book, what we're looking at now. It's just all of these questions really, and it's all the questions that are also on the website. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for spending time with me today going through these, and I'm going to continue to run through all of this stuff soon. So, yeah, thank you very much, and I will end it there. Okay? Cheers.